a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. You probably recognize that line if you're a Star Wars fan. And that kind of leads into what we're going to talk about today, galaxies. So you need your science notebooks today and a pencil, and you're going to take just a little bit of notes about some of the vocabulary words we're going to learn today about galaxies. So if you don't have them, go grab a pencil, grab your science notebook, or grab a piece of paper to write on. While you're doing that, I'm going to get my screen up ready to go for you. All righty. So today we are going to learn about galaxies. Last time we've been talking about the life cycle of stars. Now today we're going to learn about where those stars are located in places called galaxies. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write a couple of definitions for some important vocabulary words. The first one is the word universe. So write down the word universe, and remember, if you need to pause the video so that you can see it while you're writing, if I go too fast, that's fine to do. The universe is every single thing that exists. Everything out there is the universe. We're all part of the same universe. Inside of the universe are places that are called galaxies. Galaxies is your next vocabulary word. A galaxy is a huge, that's a good adjective, a huge neighborhood of stars. And by huge, I mean huge. And we're going to learn how huge in just a minute. So when the Big Bang Theory happened and we saw that it threw out all of that material into the universe, matter began to form big neighborhoods in space, and those created stars, and those were called galaxies. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about them. So let's start with some facts about galaxies. You don't have to write any of this down, so just enjoy it. Most of you knew that we live in the Milky Way galaxy. Now, the Milky Way didn't get its name from the candy bar. It got its name because a long time ago, somebody happened to look up at the stars and say, it looks like somebody spilled a glass of milk across the sky. And it was a big river of white stars that went across the night sky. And it got its name, the Milky Way galaxy. Our galaxy, the one that our solar system is part of, that we live in, has 100 billion stars. Our sun is one of those 100 billion stars. Our neighborhood, the solar system, is part of the Milky Way galaxy. 100 billion stars. That is a lot, isn't it? Now here's the next one to get you. There are 100 billion other galaxies that exist in the universe. Wow, right? And each of those 100 billion galaxies could contain 100 billion stars in 100 billion galaxies. And that fact right there is why NASA scientists believe that there has to be life someplace out in our universe. If there's so many other galaxies and so many other stars, someplace out there, there should be life besides right here on our planet. So getting back to our galaxies, Edwin Hubble, we've heard about him before, right? From the Hubble Space Telescope. He was a scientist who lived in California, and he spent his life studying about galaxies. And there's a couple pictures down there of him you can see. A lot of the pictures, you see him with a pipe in his mouth. He was a pipe smoker. But he used telescopes to take as many pictures as he possibly could about galaxies that he discovered. And he always hoped that he could have a telescope in space where he could not have pollution that would block his view, or clouds or storms. And so that's why NASA named the Hubble Space Telescope after Edwin Hubble, because he spent so much of his life looking through a telescope studying galaxies. So let's see some pictures here of galaxies. This is one of Hubble's most famous pictures, as in the Hubble Space Telescope. NASA pointed it out into space and took a picture, and all of these objects you see in this picture are galaxies. Each one of those galaxies contains at least 100 billion stars. And this is just one small section of space. Here's another picture that the Hubble Space Telescope took. Not quite as clear as that last one, but again, all of these are not stars. These shapes are galaxies that exist in the universe. 100 billion of them, each with 100 billion stars in them. Wow, right? Pretty incredible. So Hubble then, after he looked at all his pictures and he sorted them into groups, I hope you remember what word means sorted into groups, classify. He classified them into three main types. And here's what I'd like you to write on this page. I'd like you to write 3 groups of galaxies, or 3 main groups, or 3 types of galaxies, and put in number 1. And the first type is called elliptical. Elliptical is a rounded shape of galaxies. Now, Hubble, when he looked through all of his pictures that he found that the elliptical galaxies were the most, that in the universe, when he sorted, that there were way more elliptical galaxies than any other kind. Now, some of them look circular, some of them look a little squished, like a football or a lemon, like somebody stepped on that circle. And we're going to see some pictures now of some elliptical galaxies. All of these were taken by the Hubble Space Telescope, so you can see why I think the Hubble is one of the most amazing inventions ever. It's really taught us a lot of what we know about space. So these are rounded or a little bit flattened galaxies that are elliptical. Let's go look at some more. Here's some more of them. Elliptical galaxies are the most common in the universe. So rounded or a little bit flattened of a rounded shape. Next, we're ready for number 2. The second most popular kind of galaxies are ones called spiral galaxies. So write number 2, spiral, and draw yourself a little spinning spiral. Spiral are like the twirling pinwheels that you see in people's yards, or water going down the drain, or a toilet being flushed. That's what these type of galaxies appear to look like, spirals. So these are super beautiful. Wait till you see them. Here comes some examples of spiral galaxies. You can kind of imagine like it looks like water going down a drain. These have what are called arms on the outside of them. So they have that circular middle, but they look like they're spinning, and you can see that they end in what's called an arm to the galaxy. Some galaxies have one arm, some have more than one. This one down here kind of looks like the Superman logo a little bit. It's got 2 arms on this spiral galaxy. Here's some more pictures. Aren't these awesome? Awesome, awesome. These are spiral galaxies. Our Milky Way, again, is a spiral galaxy. The very last group of galaxies that Hubble classified were what he called irregular. Irregular galaxies are just kind of splat. There's no real shape to them. They come in lots of different shapes. And he called those irregular because they didn't fit in. They weren't rounded like elliptical, and they weren't spinning like the spiral galaxies. So we put them in a group and he called them irregular. Let's see some of those. So you can see these look just all different shapes. Not a lot of definite shape to them at all. And here are some more irregular. You can see that they're not rounded, they're not spinning like a spiral, so they get to be in a group called irregular. Now here is an artist's picture of our solar system, where it's located on the Milky Way. Now, we know that this isn't real because we have never been out of our solar system, let alone out of our own galaxy. So, an artist drew this picture to show that we, where we're living, are way out on the arm of the Milky Way, on the outside, which is a really good thing for scientists. Because if we were in the very middle of our Milky Way galaxy, we would be surrounded by the stars, very tightly packed in our galaxy. And we would know about the rest of the universe even existing because we would only see the stars around us in our galaxy. So by being way on the outside, we can look into our Milky Way. That's why we can see it at night in the night sky, because we can turn around and see what the galaxy looks like because we're on the arm of it. But we can also point the telescopes out into the rest of the universe and see what the rest of the universe is like. So it's a pretty nice place to be located. This is a really amazing fact. Now we know that the speed of light is the fastest thing that exists. If we could go with the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles in a second, in one blink, you could travel 186,000 miles. It would take you 100,000 years, light years, to cross our own Milky Way galaxy. Now that is just amazing because remember that in our own solar system, it took the New Horizons space probe 9.5 years just to get to Pluto, and it was going 36,000 miles an hour, and that's in our own neighborhood. We can't even get out of our own neighborhood in space, let alone travel across the Milky Way. Space is just huge. So today, I hope I amazed you a little bit with what we've learned about galaxies, thanks to people like Edwin Hubble and NASA. So I'm going to end today with some really pretty pictures of the Milky Way galaxy in different places. Now, the Milky Way galaxy is best able to be seen in the summer months, at least past 9 o'clock at night. So if you stay up late and you go someplace dark, you'll see this milky path across the sky, and that is the rest of our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. So I hope you were a little bit amazed today by what you learned, and we'll talk a little bit more about galaxies tomorrow. Thanks for listening.